All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I'm coming to here with part 5 of living through an economic collapse. I do apologize for my tardiness in reference to not being a little bit more prompt on the videos, but life continues to go on, and these videos, they take a little time. And some of course, many of you who follow me, you know that a lot of the videos that I make, they're usually on the spur of the moment. I just sit down behind the camera, or either I get my iPhone and I just begin to record, and bam, they come just like that. I do, however, before I start going into part 5 right here, I want to speak to you here just for a moment about an experience I had looking at a movie. Now, while we do not have a TV signal, as a matter of fact, I have not had a TV signal in my house. It's got to be, let me see, 94, 14, 20, 21 years. 21 years. Now I do have access to the internet. And there was a time for at least, I don't know, I guess 10 years I didn't even have access to the internet or something like that. So, hey, because I was too busy. I was too busy setting the foundation of straightway community. But anyway, I do have a Blu-ray player that I hook up to a monitor, and that way I have a controlled environment. I looked at a particular movie last night, and of course I look at things, when I see things, I have an alternate conscious. It's a whole lot different than what other people may view. Some, I was venture to say, the majority of people that are pretty much, the military, or veterans, or those who are informed. They probably see what I see. I'm going to share some of my thoughts with you. And what I was looking at last night was this right here. Now, most people in this society, when they watch movies, they look at it for entertainment purposes. I don't see anything entertaining about all the movies that are coming out nowadays. As a matter of fact, they're coming out at an extraordinary pace, showing me that we are definitely following the historical tracks of ancient Rome, to where now entertainment is the favorite pastime. You remember in the day that boxing used to be the ultimate fighting source here in America. Most of y'all remember the days of, I remember these days because I remember as a little boy growing up watching these. Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Ken Norton, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. And I'm talking about fighters. These folks were fighters now. But then all of a sudden up pops mixed martial arts. And it's been around for a long time. But man, I tell you what, it sure has put every other discipline on the back burner. And you know the reason why? Because the same way that ancient Rome used to clamor for blood. And remember, I told you 20-something years ago that these football stadiums are nothing but modern-day coliseums. Oh, I know that people are down there playing a game. But man, how the people stack into those places like sardines. I wonder how much money that they're spending on entertainment, paying these extraordinary fees to the owners of the teams, as well as the players themselves and the coaches. I wonder how much they could have invested in themselves. But they chose to laugh. They chose to scream. They chose to holler. And of course, their head is clearly stuck in the sand, and they're not thinking with alternate conscious. Now mixed martial arts is on the scene. And why has it surpassed every other discipline? Simply because there's blood involved. And the crowd craves blood. Well, anyway, while I'm watching this particular movie right here, I said, wow, the powers that be, they're literally just in our face today, aren't they? Literally in our face today. Now, I'm going to tell you what I saw. I saw in that movie what I see today. And most of us, we have been trained and not educated. We have been manipulated, not educated. We do not use independent thought at all. What I saw in this movie right here is the same structure I see today. Let me explain it to you real quick before I go off into this article right here for a second, all right? Or shall I say, before I go into this article. And by the way, you know, this is pretty comfortable stuff right here. They didn't have this stuff when I was in the military in the day. It's pretty comfortable stuff right here. But anyway, here's the structure of today. Whether you like it or understand it or not. Let me go this way. Time out. Government is supposed to start right here in the home. This is the grassroots, and government possesses its authority and has its authority starting right here at home. Then it works its way up. Now that up doesn't mean that they're at the top of the scale. That means they're at the down, on the bottom of the scale. That's the way it should be. And that's the way, because the man, he is the king of his home, king of his castle. Government starts there, and then it starts going off into the independent parishes, counties, and the state, then the federal government. All right. But the way we have it today, which is a very communist and fascist system, government is having its rule and authority over the people. See, the truth is, we the people are the masters of the government. But you look at the posture and you watch continually over and over again and ask yourself, do these police officers consider themselves public servants? Just the other day, I watched a video. Utterly amazing. I watched a video. And you know what I saw? And you can see him over and over and over again. I saw a man get pulled over, I believe it was in South Carolina, and literally got shot for following orders. Listen to what I said. The police, he pulls up at the gas station. He has his door open. All of a sudden, there's a police car behind, lights blaring and stuff. And the police says, let me see your license. Go and get your license or something like that. And you know what happens? He reaches in and get his license. The police lose his mind. The officer did. And just literally, he's a poor ass shot too. And literally just turn around and start shooting this man. Pow, 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 pow. Needless to say, I think in this instance right here, they terminated the officer. But myself personally, I think that he should be put in front of a firing squad. That's what I personally think. But hey, that's my personal opinion though. Because I guarantee you, if people start paying for these injustices and we start making examples out of the people who are determined to where they want to claim ignorance or fear or whatever it may be, I guarantee you it would deter all these injustices that are perpetuated upon the people, no matter who it may be. Somebody kills somebody, you kill them, that I guarantee you it will send a message all across this country, and we will get the commandment, you shall not murder. But anyway, and then this cop turns around and the guy say, I'm sorry. I don't know what he's sorry about, but I'm telling you, when I see something like this, I'm telling you, it causes me to think even more. I have to really, truly be careful. Like I said, a simple routine traffic stop could be the day that you die. And like I said, 99% of the time, they're going to twist, warp, lie, and distort. And they're going to be acquitted of all charges. The family's just going to be left suffering. And chances are, there's going to be no one in the home. And of course, the YouTube is filled full of this stuff. But we really, truly have got to start protecting ourselves from the government. Because they have literally just gone mad. They've got a doctrine out there. It's not, they say shoot to stop. It ain't, yeah, shoot to stop. And the way we stop you is we kill you. And that's how we stop. That way is only one story told. Man, I tell you, it's bad. But anyway, back to this movie here for a second. Let me get to this movie right here. This is what I saw in this movie is what I see today. We have a communist fascist government. All right. And this government is set up. And this man said in there, I forget who his name was, but this man said in there, he was the I guess the president or prime minister, whoever he may be. But this is what he said. He said, we have a system in place. And anytime this system is compromised, then it throws everything awry. I'm paraphrasing, okay? And the system is this. You are the workers. You supply food to us, and we keep order for you. This is the way it's designed to work. Now ask yourself a question. Is that not what's taking place today? W-2, second class wage earner. How many of you get pissed as hell? Every single thing you do in your life, you are literally taxed. The government sits by and does nothing and collects taxes. For instance, some of you may work a job and you may get a bonus. All right? Your bonus is getting ready to be taxed 30 to 35% in the government. They'll get it before it ever hits your hand. And what did they do to deserve it besides exist to tax you? To tax you, that's all they did. Your paycheck. They don't trust you to pay your taxes. They take your taxes out of the check before you even get it. And the businesses are set up like that. Even if you want to do, that's what they're trying to do now. You know, this legal tender cash is supposed to be legal tender for all debts, public and private. But they even want taxes off of transactions that take place between you and another individual who contract. They even want that too. I mean, these bloodthirsty parasites, they get in on everything. And they wonder why. Everybody wonders why the people are always looking for a way around, trying to not give these coffers more than what they're already taking anyway. And you know what they do? They have everything backed up by guns and jail sentences. Think about that. Tax evasion. Look how many people that have literally been thrown in jail in this country for tax evasion. And you ask yourself if our country is not guilty of tax evasion itself. It's a sad situation. So we are the workers. They are the ones who provide security, they say. And that's what this terrorist stuff, I told you in 9/11, it was an inside job, period. And I told you clearly that it was controlled demolition. Way back then when I was on shortwave radio, I told the people my own personal opinion because I do think my experience matters just a little bit. Now, people are waking up, which I'm glad that they are. But man, I tell you what, these people are utterly amazing. We the workers, they provide security. That's what they say. And then we have peace. But it's just like America right here. Like America was literally built off cotton. And it wasn't you white folks out there in them fields picking that cotton. It was the black folks that was in that field picking that cotton. And look, by guns. They wasn't, you know, their labor was enforced by guns. Same thing today, just a different way. Now all of America is enslaved. So you have the poor and the rich. The middle class is all but decimated. And they are controlling and ruling. And they are posturing themselves, positioning themselves for a total takeover called the New World Order. But this is their attitude. And they are unyielding. This man in this movie right here, the government's position is we can only have peace when you do what we say. Well, that's what the government thinks. But we have the understanding we can only have peace when government does what we say. Now you ask yourself a question. Is this a government of the people, for the people, and by the people? I'll answer that question for you. Hell no. Hell no. I can govern my own self. I promise you that. And I'm doing it. But it's a sad situation. So in this movie is the blueprint of the thought pattern of the powers that be and how that they are doing with us even today. And they are going to stamp out all residue and all resistance. And so you have people like me that have a voice and we exercise our right. And we start to go out there and start speaking. And the first thing they do is put us on a blacklist, a government watch list. Because they don't want all you people informed. When they have modified your behavior through GMOs, when they have modified your health, chemical trails, pesticides, herbicides, you have mercury in your mouth, fluoride you're inducing on a daily basis through the municipal water supply. They're poisoning us. Most people can't think right. What they want is a society of yes and drooling, bumbling idiots. And they just about all but got it complete. I sit and watch the people, war back and forth with each other. And the psychology that the government uses is working. It is working on a grand scale. Every time I turn around, you can go on YouTube and you can see the racial discord. It's utterly amazing. I'm like, man, these people cannot see what's going on. They literally can't see what's going on. They're fighting the wrong people. But man, these people are masters manipulators, ain't they? That's what's going on in that movie. The government position is they can't have peace unless we do things their way. And so, whether you like it or not, whoever you get paid by is who, check this out, watch a second, is who you represent. Think about this. The school teachers, who they get paid by? Everybody say, well, everybody gets paid by the taxpayers. I told you, government, they cannot produce anything. They can only take. And that's what they're doing. They're taking from us. But the high school, the junior high and the high school curriculum is all sanctioned by who? The federal government. The police department, who they get paid by? Local and federal government. The FBI, the CIA, all these different alphabet soup organizations, who they get paid by? Local, state government, all forms of government. Federal government. Think about this. Do you think for 1 minute these people who own the payroll, the military, who they get paid by? Federal government, federal citizen. Most of you, there's a lot of people, listen, now, these people have in mind, they are a federal citizen. That is totally different than a citizen of America. A total different mindset. These people are federal. I'm not going to go in that. I hadn't even started the article. And I'm trying to stimulate thought to get you to understand what's going on. But you think about that for a moment. These people on the payroll, so who do you think they're going to represent? That's kind of like these politicians. Whatever money that they receive from the state that they represent, it pales in comparison to all these backroom deals and all these campaign contributions that is constantly hidden by corporations. Can you imagine that a president will spend upwards to $50 to $100 million just to get elected in this society? Is that the democratic process? Whew. And they keep cramming democracy, 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 democracy. Well, I thought, according to these documents right here, that we're a constitutional republic. News media, democracy. Local state, democracy. Everybody around the world keeps hollering democracy. We're supposed to be a constitutional republic, and I know many of you don't even understand what that means. Oh, it's crazy. The dumbing down is all but complete. I'm sure you get what I'm saying. But I see things from an alternate paradigm. I promise you, an alternate conscious, function after alternate conscious. I saw a people resisting the government. And they wanted to fend, be at peace, and live without tyranny. But the government has a total different attitude. You see, they can't function unless we, the people, are working and contributing to them. This is the age-old war. People just simply want to be free. I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm only going to be able to cover a few points in here because this video is already long enough, and I'm sure that many of you appreciate my commentary. Think about that. Let's go back a few videos. You remember a few videos ago that the man said that 1 can of beans was going in upwards of $30. How many of you are really taking this to heart? How many of you have went out and every single time you went out and you've come back home, you bought at least 1 can of beans or 1 can of or bought some lentils, or a big can. How many of you are taking heed to this stuff? Has it sobered you up? Has it helped you out at all? I mean, have any of you went and decided, hey, you know what? I think I better get some of this right here because this is going to happen. This is the people's money during an economic collapse. You see, gold is a storage of wealth, but silver is the people's money. And silver is what's in the Constitution, as well as the Bible. 5,000-year-old documents. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read a few points here. There's no room to store supplies that will never be used anyway. That's point 9 right here, fact and answer. Vertical storage is one way. Even very limited amount of space can be used to put away that someone needs. There are all sorts of dead spaces around the home, under the bed, closet, shelves, your garage, a couple of ideas. Square footage of a home is two-dimensional, as there is usually about 8 feet of space up and down between ceiling and floor. Even people living in tiny apartments find room to store up emergency needs. Yeah, I mean, just don't think just on the ground. Think about all this airspace. Even here, when we are growing food here at Straightway, I try to use the air in the greenhouse because that's also space where food can be grown. Do I have to make modifications and stuff to the greenhouse and do things a little bit different? Sure I do. Yes, I do. But I'm trying to use and maximize all the space that we have. This year, we're going to put more raised beds and do more canning than we've ever had before. Why? Because I'm not interested in a green lawn. I'm not trying to keep up with the Joneses and trying to make my lawn look like the Masters down in Augusta, Georgia. I'm not concerned about my homestead looking like a golf course. Damn it, to me, that's just more grass I got to cut. Now, I can put the grass on the compost pile to use later on in the garden if that's going to be effective, but I'm trying to put places for food, not trying to look good for nobody and spend money on a bunch of wasteful attitudes and things. It just don't make sense. Anyway, point 10. I can't rotate supplies. Everything will get old and have to be thrown away. Fact or answer. Many items can be consumed way past the best buy dates. Those that feel that they still can't store up items even in cans because of some used by the best buy date can store up a lot of other items that don't have to be rotated. There are everyday items that can be forgotten about and will be just as good as when you first stored it. Sounds crazy. Let me stop right here. Now, if you go back in my videos, I talked about oxygen absorbers and Mylar bags many, many years ago and stuff. And I can tell you right now, we've got stuff stored years and stuff. And when you store it right, you use oxygen absorbers and Mylar bags and stuff. You open that stuff up, it's like, man, you just put it in there. But you have to know what you're doing. Go back and get educated. I got videos up on this, all right? But there are items that can fetch a higher barter value that people need and want. Toilet paper is one key supply that can be traded for food and other items because it will never lose its demand. Well, I agree with that in part right there, but what you need to do is start trying to think about some type of cloth or clothing. Now remember, we know that the municipal water supply is going to be tore up, all right? We know that the creeks and the rivers is going to be contaminated. My suggestion is you get a homestead and you modify that home, or you get some deep wells. Either you can put a can down in the well or a hand pump, a manual hand pump. And my suggestion is that, yes, you have toilet paper, but you also try to use something like T-shirts and cloths or something like that because you're going to use the bathroom, all right? But that you can continually keep washing and then use and reuse and reuse. And then if all that doesn't fail, you got leaves. Anyway. All right. And then on top of that, you ain't got to worry about how you're going to use the bathroom because sometimes toilet facilities may not be available. But there's always trees. You know what you can do? You can just stand up and prop your butt up against the back of a tree. You can sit like this and use the bathroom, be just fine. Take a shovel and cover it up. Anyway, Toilet paper is one key supply that can be traded for food and other items because it will never lose its demand. Other bottom items such as cigarettes and alcohol have extreme value just about everywhere. It would be wise to always store up what you eat each day in cans, as canned foods have a very long shelf life, so long as they are kept dry, cool, and undamaged. Well, I would tell you one thing, you can use it because people are going to smoke cigarettes or something like that. They'll smoke anything nowadays. But when you think about storing alcohol, think about vodka, for instance. Vodka is one of those drinks that people love drinking. They love drinking and stuff, but it's also a good antiseptic. It really, truly is. So go out there and buy a whole bunch of cheap vodka. And the reason why people become alcoholics and think about alcohol, because the stress and the pressure of everything is on them, and people are always, they're humans. They're always going to be looking for a way of escape or some form of comfort. And people just consume alcohol up to 10 and 20 times the amount that they normally would, but simply because they can't cope with the situation. Sorry it took a little bit long and only got a few points done within this video right here. I'll do one more point, okay? Because I want to try to keep them under 30 minutes, and I'm well at 26 minutes right now, okay? Let's go one more point here. I don't have extra money to store up anything for disasters. Factor answers. There are many coupons online, in newspapers, and in stores. Manufacturers want to attract new customers to their products so badly that they often offer food for free or near free. People live on coupons with very limited money sources using coupons. Stores also offer reduced pricing on overstock items. Collecting these supplies will add up if one is willing to start doing so. Never pass up an opportunity to get something for free, especially if it can be stored for later use or barter. Well, you know what? I remember yours truly, Pastor Dow. I used to go dumpster diving. I used to go behind some of these stores and stuff, and they would throw out all these expired canned goods and everything else. I used to go in a dumpster and get the canned goods and load them up in my little pickup truck and take them home. And somebody said, well, why in the world did you do that? Because, man, you don't believe the good stuff you find in dumpsters. But some of you're too prideful. And that's that's one great downfall of many of you people out there. You are too prideful. I've seen people come here at the community, and you could see it in their eyes, in their spirit right here. There was some jobs that they are just simply too prideful to do. Not one brother that lives on this land straightway, there's no job that we're too prideful to do. Pastor Dow, even still to this day, I shovel chicken manure out of the coop. I shovel cow manure from the field. Yeah, can you believe that? Yes, sir. Clean the chicken coop. Yeah, along with the brother, Pastor Dow. Can you believe that? That Pastor Dow would actually stoop so low. I never to actually get out there in the chicken coop and shovel some chicken shit. Oh, God of mercy. Oh, God. Most of you can't ever imagine that. Yeah, Pastor Dow butchers deer, butchers turkey, butchers cows. What? Most of you don't even have a skill set to even know what to do. It's a sad thing to even survive if you had to, because your survival depends upon the system that you trust in, which is going to be your downfall. Go back and look at my archives. I even show you something. I should have this year actually gone through great details, but there's plenty on YouTube to show you how to butcher an animal. Pastor Dow even fishes. Now, everything that I do, the people here on the community do as well. Women, children, brother, they all do it. It's part of our lifestyle. Yeah, Pastor Dow actually dig holes with shovels, post hole diggers. Most of you don't even know what a post hole digger is. Use come along. Most of you, do you know what a come along is? Never mind. Oh, mercy. I mean, there's just so many things. My. Man, you ain't never had no dirt under your fingernails. You're just simply too prideful. You got to get past that consciousness. I don't know if you can be helped, some of you. But those that do, you will thank the day that you heard this voice. We'll be back with part 6, and hopefully I won't be so long-winded about commentary. Most people seem to enjoy my commentary more so than the article right here. But I promise you, next video, we will actually do more with the article and then provide commentary. I want you all to be encouraged, okay? See you in part 6.